Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's Amin here from Muslim CEO, and you are joining me as well as Mohammad and Faisal, my partners, on the Marketing While Muslim podcast. We're on episode 3 now, and this is a podcast where we really try to flex the alhamdulillah skills that we've gained through marketing for different clients and helping people to get success in kind of business. And we kind of just implement that there right here in front of you, kind of live, in the sense where nothing's edited. We're just doing our best to kind of solve a marketing problem. So this is episode 3. We've done a couple other episodes. You can check those out. The funny thing as well is that right now, for example, this episode, me and Mohammed don't actually know the topic of this episode, right? So Faisal has prepared an idea for us. And so it's purely like, we've got to be ready. We've got to be on point. We've got to bring our top game, right? So that's how I'll begin it. And then I'll pass over to Faisal to kind of fill us in on what's going to happen.
Okay, so assalamu alaikum. So how I came up with this idea, I was struggling a little bit actually, but then we were on a consultancy call last week. And the brother on the call was an author, right? And one of the suggestions we made to him was, he's in the process of writing his next book. He's written 4 already. He's writing his next book. And we said that, look, whenever you're putting a book together, you should do the marketing first. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what we said. So I thought, okay, yeah, that might be something that we can play with. Because all of us at Alhamdulillah are in that stage where we're thinking of writing our own books or already in the process. So I thought, okay, let me come up with a hypothetical title. And then let's do the marketing of that first up front. And then we'll also roll it out to what does a book launch actually look like to do it well. So they're the 2 sort of main things. So the marketing of a book up front, and then how does that look like from a launch perspective and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
Very good. I like that idea. Can we like, are you telling us you're going to do a topic and then we're going to do the whole like everything around it, or have you actually brainstormed an idea already?
No. So I thought, what do you call it? We could spend forever on a brainstorm. So I came up with the idea already, and I thought I'd do it very generic, and then the whole point is you can make it then amazing and all that stuff. So for me, the book kind of topic title is aspiring for greatness as a Muslim, right? So it's very kind of bland as it is, but just that's the whole concept of it: aspiring for greatness as a Muslim.
Okay.
Right? So that's it. Let's kind of work with that now.
Okay. By the way, everyone listening, if you're just listening on audio, we do have the video version as well. So we just throw that up on YouTube, and do we put on Facebook, Mohammed, as well?
Yeah, put on everything.
Yeah, Facebook and YouTube as well. So that's for the video. The video will be good because I think we're gonna share our screen as well. So you see the camera, you see the screen and everything. Cool. So Faisal, are you gonna like open a document and we'll do it like that, right?
Okay, I can do that. 1 second.
Just so they can see on the screen, like, and remember what we've said.
That's a good idea. Yeah, let me do that then.
Like last time, really.
Sure. Okay, so bear with me. I'll get the document up.
Okay, so aspiring for greatness. So it's like ihsan, right?
Ihsan, yeah.
That's the word that came to my mind as well when I was thinking about it. Yeah, so just so we know, right? Like any one of us 3 can use this as a book idea for the future, inshallah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bit of a hidden motive behind it.
Okay,
I know there is. I know there is.
Okay, cool. All right, so MWM.
It's actually Faisal's turn. Like we concepted mine, we concepted Mohammed's.
Yeah.
So
it's good. He gets to do it live.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
For everyone to steal the idea.
All right. So what I'm thinking, guys, is that maybe we could do something where we just kind of do a little bit of base brainstorming around the whole kind of idea, right?
Okay.
Like,
can you just enable share screen for me as well, by the way?
Oh, you peasant. Okay, we'll allow it for you. Okay. How do you...
I've just noticed. So you're Muslim CEO. You're Muslim CEO, but I'm like Faisal Amjad.
Yeah.
Okay, so
your original face.
I'm original, yeah, exactly.
Okay, how do we give him access?
Come on, bro. Share screen. There's a little arrow.
Oh, under. Okay. Right. Let me just. Okay. Multiple participants can share. All participants. There you go, bro.
Okay. So the concept is a book that. So is it like what it seems to be, in the sense of a book which will show you, like a kind of self-development kind of book, where it shows you how to aspire for greatness, how to have ihsan in your life. Is that
Yeah,
it?
pretty much. Yeah, aspire for greatness.
Is there any other like angles we could go with, like?
Yeah, I mean, the way you could do it is kind of it could be case study based. It could be look, this person's great, this person's great, this person's great.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's right.
Reverse engineering almost.
Yeah, and in the sense of bright spotting, right? Because if you look at someone like David Malcolm, what's his name? Malcolm
Gladwell. Yeah.
Like with Outliers, he just did a really good job of picking some really great stories.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So you could do a lot of different storytelling in it, right?
Yeah.
Also, you could do Tools of Titan style, where you're like, okay, look, these are the 7 great people we've chosen.
Yeah.
And we're just going to basically tell you the traits of these 7 kind of people, right?
Yeah.
You could do it qualities thing. Like, you know how people do like 7 habits or 11 qualities of the Prophet ﷺ. You could do qualities based.
Yeah.
You could do, what's quite sick, guys? I don't know if you know this, right? Have you guys read The Richest Man in Babylon?
Yeah.
Right? No. So you see, like, the way they do that, I think that's one of the best ways of doing stories, right? Where they've got this like long story with little parts, and each one has a story, and then there's a massive lesson behind it.
Like different parables, basically.
Yeah, different parables, but really.
So
really
does
amazing.
each chapter has a lesson in it, or it's like at the end you get the lesson?
No. Each chapter has a lesson in it. Yeah.
Each chapter, yeah. So, for example, they'll say, okay, this guy, he started working. They tell the guy he's a slave and he became free or something, and then he earned this money. So the first thing is you got to take 10% of your money. You got to do this with it. But really, like, very nice in terms of storytelling, man. So that one, and I think it's The Richest Salesman or something as well. There's one, The Best Salesman in something as well. So those 2 books, really good.
The other way I thought we could do this is, instead of going generic ihsan, we could do ihsan in Korea or ihsan in...
Yeah, so it becomes a series, Sport, in sport.
Ihsan for kids, ihsan for teens.
Very good. Okay, cool. Some good ideas.
Another last thing I'd say is that you could also look at what area of greatness, because like I was doing this coaching workshop yesterday, and I kind of broke down some of the superpowers I believe that you need for coaching, right? And it's the same with greatness. Like, you might find that there's 5, 6, 7 different things. So for example, from a greatness perspective, communication could be huge. Taking action could be huge. Being able to deal with your own and other people's emotions. So like, what is it specifically about greatness that you're going to focus on? Because it could be such a huge thing,
That's a very, very good point. Okay, so do we need to select some of this stuff, or because obviously, because I remember how we've done it in the past is you then you maybe split it into sort of angles, and then split it into sections.
Before I go to angles, what I would do, bro, is that use the 5 Ps kind of methodology without using the 5 Ps, in the sense that, like, what's the big problem? Because if we're there to solve a problem, that's good. Like something like even like 7 Habits of Effective People, right? It's actually dealing with the problem that we're ineffective or we're not getting enough done or something like that.
Sure.
So how would we define the problem for this book? Like,
I guess the problems are, I mean, you could go at the problem of Muslims not having the inferiority complex, or not aspire after having the aspiration to really excel.
So let's put some problems down. Yeah, okay. Like we're saying, one problem could be low standards, basically.
Yeah.
But surely before you decide on the problem, you have to decide who has the problem. So the people.
Yeah, definitely. I was just assuming that it was Muslims. Faisal?
Yeah, Muslim,
no, but
Muslim male, female.
Yeah.
Is it kids? Is it teenagers?
Could be professionals.
Let's not do women after last episode, right? Let's not do men because of Amin's topics. But yeah, what are you thinking, Faisal?
Yeah, so I'm thinking, young people.
Good. Faisal, one thing that happened yesterday, someone asked a question, because I was basically training all teachers, right? And so the teachers were saying that we are now in a time where we're dealing with teenagers who think they know it all, and they are basically so mature because of how much stuff they've taken in because of
That's
the way
what-
the world is
That's
today,
spot on, bro.
that they can't really take advice from us, but they need that advice. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Someone
so that's-
else said that to me as well. So our generation, we literally didn't do nothing in comparison. Now, because they have access to information, not they don't have knowledge, but they have access to information. So they're a lot more like further along in that sense. It's not. Obviously, it's still coupled with immaturity and stuff.
But the thing is that do they see it as a problem? That's the thing, right? Because we know people who are young teenagers who are like into business and like really amazing people. There are guys like that out there, right? So
would you write a book for a teenager?
Yeah, exactly.
In 2020.
Would you write a book? When I say young people, I'm not really talking. I'm not thinking young people per se. I'm thinking like young professionals. I'm thinking like 20,
So
like 18
25 to 40.
18
Is that it?
No, around
No,
maybe
younger.
18 to 30, I'd say.
Yeah, I think 18 to 25, 18 to 30. Basically, that even maybe 18 is a little bit young, but 20 to 30, bro.
Yeah,
Like that little segment there, like before people hit 30, they start thinking. That's when they go through majority of changes, whether it's moving out or going into the workplace or getting married. So it's that kind of time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 20 to 30 Muslim. So they don't necessarily have to be working yet. Like they could be finishing up uni or doing masters or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, because we could say 20 to 30-year-old Muslims who are already working or whatever. We could go that deep. What do you think?
No, I think look, especially if they're early 20s, it's kind of like they're now adult. It's young adult, basically, is what I'm thinking.
I'm saying, do you want to go more specific than that?
Yeah, because this is the thing, Faisal, right? Like what I found like through my own journey and a lot of people's journeys is that when you get out of uni, you only have one thing on your mind. Yeah, it's like get that job. Yeah, like you don't really have that whole purpose. You're just like
I thought you were going to say get that
job.
wife.
Yeah, well, the job is a precursor to the wife.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So it's like, let me just get that job no matter what type of thing. So you're really focused on the job and you think the job is the answer. But in my experience, when I got there, I found the job wasn't the answer. And that's when I looked for like a higher purpose, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe it's like that whole thing that, someone who's just maybe started working and just kind of like, I saw this coach on LinkedIn the other day. Yeah. He's like, I help people transition from being a student to going into the workplace. Right? It's just that because you've never done it before, like you're in the workplace at the start and stuff. So
it's interesting. Whenever we do a lot of work for clients and when we do the avatars, it's the people who are 23, 24, 25. They've worked for a few years and now they're looking for something else. Especially there's like the people who have Islamic organizations who they never really target 18, 19, 20-year-olds because but to 24, 25, they're like, okay, right, there's more to life than just working all the time. So it's the whole, they're starting to think about higher purpose and stuff. And that was the same with your journey. That was the same with all of our journees, really. It was like after 23, 24, it was like we were a bit more on it. So maybe, So maybe you can say young person. But I mean, the question is that should it be young professional or should it be young person? Because I'm not really, I don't think it has to be a professional per se.
I think having a professional is definitely not necessary. I would go with young person but working because someone who's a young person not working, the only thing they care about is working, right? So like young person who's working.
And also just from a business point of view, you want to kind of target people who have an income, isn't it?
Yeah, of course,
That's for the coaching upsell.
What's the problem that these guys have then? Like someone who's working at 20 to 30, like what's the kind of
fulfillment, right?
Yeah, fulfillment,
purpose. Yeah.
Maybe is it like confidence or lack of clarity?
Is it?
No, like lack of clarity in like what their path is going to be.
Clarity, obviously, purpose.
Clarity is good.
But I would also think that
direction.
For me, I think authenticity, like balancing both worlds, like deen and dunya, and sort of like it's like, okay, in the workplace, I have to be this, and I can't put my feet in the sink and stuff. Yeah.
Something that links to that, Faisal, right? A really big thing is identity.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
right? Actually, like, who am I? Because I thought I was going to be this lawyer guy who got into law, but I'm realizing that law's not my thing. Right?
That's not familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But that's very natural, right? And then at that point, you're like questioning your identity. And so I think one problem you can really solve with people is help them to craft, like, because that's what greatness is about. Greatness is about you being a better version of yourself, right? So if you can help them craft an identity which is like great, then they can work towards it because they're young. They got a lot of time. They got a lot of energy to do it.
Yeah. By the way, I'm just thinking of books about greatness. So from Bright Spot, Good to Great just came to mind. So that's
Good to Great is good.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So crafting the identity that what do you call it? Begins the journey to greatness. Okay. What about balance? I don't actually know balance is that because this is the thing is like if you were to look at different, let's say, role models and stuff, you could look at the Michael Jordan type who was just relentless and great in his field, but is that what is that what we need to encourage young Muslims to be doing, or is it the one that actually has got his priorities right, he's got balance and all that stuff?
I think balance is something that comes as a problem a little bit later in life. So for example, when I was young, free and single, I don't feel balance was that much of an issue. But when you've got 2 kids and then you're married and this and that, and then it's a different thing, right? So it kind of depends on the audience a little bit. But obviously, because you're dealing with 20 to 30, there'll be 22-year-olds who get married, right? There'll be 35-year-olds who get married. So like it kind of really differs.
Sure, understood. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so let me just think. Mentors.
I mean, first of all, when you look at that, what's the kind of problem? If you had to pick one problem out of that you want to kind of solve, what's the one you're most passionate about? What's the one that you care about?
I think things like identity and purpose, like understanding there's a like you're here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing, identity, purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, those 2 things come to mind more.
Let's take.
But also, I think the thing is that a lot of these things do come into play. Like I said, low standards is another big one because again, one of the I think sometimes this is the problem that we don't actually have the big picture in mind. We don't have that grand vision always when we're young, because of its years of this thing as accepting it, or might be you're from the culture you're from, or this and that. But
okay, so choose what we want to do is we want to choose 3 very painful problems.
Sure.
From the 3 problems that are there.
I wouldn't actually say low standards is a big one that they have.
Yeah,
I think the low standards is something that they don't want it, but they need it, and so you can put it in the book without it being the main.
Agreed. Yeah,
that's another problem I'm thinking. Because for me, like this basically underpins everything, which is beliefs, right? Like obviously
mindset, basically.
Yeah, their beliefs, their mindsets. Like a lot of those things again are like big questions at that point.
Yeah.
So the most painful problems, I would say, I think you can put together authenticity and identity.
Yeah.
And being yourself, right? That's all together, right?
Yeah.
You could just bold it, maybe, Faisal.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is, what about if it was purpose, fulfillment together again? Like purpose, fulfillment, and I don't know, does clarity even also come into there? Like those are
clarity with about who you are, where you need to go, roadmap, all that stuff.
Yeah, so those are like the 2 problems, I think, and I think they kind of do get bundled into 2 things like that.
Yeah, because what it is that, okay, first of all, the whole thing about identity, being myself, all that stuff, that's important. Once I understand that, then okay, right, now I know who I am. Now what do I need to do? Why do I exist and all that stuff?
So now you got your 2 sections of the book.
Very good. That's good. Awesome. All right.
So should we do tagline and name?
Yeah, we can do.
What's the contents of the book going to be, maybe, before we decide that?
So, I mean, this all depends on the
style.
You know what? That's what we should do. We know different styles of books, right? We should just decide: is it going to be Ryan Holiday style? Is it going to be 7 Habits style? Like, what's the kind of style?
Because it could even be like 48 Laws of Power style.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good model as well, actually.
Yeah.
Like I said, for those of you that haven't read 48 Laws of Power, do not read that book. I would advise that you listen to that book. It sounds like Shaitan is narrating it, right? Not only are the concepts in there very like
Dark.
backhanded, shaitanic,
Yeah,
dark kind of thing.
Machiavellian, yeah.
But even the guy who reads it, he reads it out in this kind of, you know how you like
Sinister,
mysterious and sinister. It's like, wow.
Damien, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's a really cool idea as well, Fas, because you know, greatness is one of those things where there's so many different kind of things you can put in there. So that's a really cool idea as well, man. So good.
I think I would also think of, remember, we got to give people what they want, not what they need, right?
Yes.
So even if we like or we think a certain way is effective conveying a message, we also we need people to actually read the book and actually finish it.
Yeah.
So if we want to have the impact, not just the impact and that kind of outcome, but also if people are going to like spread the word organically about it, they need to actually read it. So for that reason, one style that I know is popular among that age group is Ryan Holiday's style. What is Ryan Holiday's style? It's basically applying, you know, in his case, ancient philosophy, using stories and examples of real people and stories of those people, and, you know, explaining it out basically through tons of stories. And I think that's a good framework for someone who's writing a book based on Islamic sources, because it's again,
there's ancient philosophy there, exactly.
Yeah, it's taking a philosophy, applying it, stories.
Like what you know, when you guys were like young,
a lot of golden age stuff there.
I know. Like, I mean, still a bit young, right? But when you guys were younger, what was a book that really got you hyped up? Because I've got a book in my mind that really hyped me up, right? Like what were book? Maybe because it was one of the first audiobooks I did, but like what's one book that really got you?
Are you talking about self-development books or in general? I used to love Roald Dahl books.
I mean, Roald Dahl is a bit too young, bro.
Define young, define young.
I mean, like, you know,
the Hungry Caterpillar. Oh my god, that was amazing.
No, I'm
Fire.
I'm talking about the Avatar age, right? Between 20 and 25. Right. Like, what was a book that really got you kind of going? And you read that book and you thought, this is amazing. Like, this is it. Like, right? So what's a book like that for you?
7 Habits, 4-Hour Work Week, 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. Those 3. Like,
you read those in the early 20s, yeah?
Not early 20s, like 24 maybe.
Yeah, you know, those 2 of those books I definitely would have thought of. Which is the 4-Hour Work Week and 7 Habits.
Yeah, 4-Hour Work Week is the one.
But 4-Hour Work Week was one of the ones that got me hyped. You know, it's just
paradigm shift.
Paradigm shift. The Magic Thinking Big was like that as well.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so what I'm saying is that for me, like, the Ryan Holiday books are good, but I feel like they're a little bit more like
older. Yeah.
Now that I've done these 2-3 that gets me hyped, then I'm going on to that. And also what I'm thinking is that really at this age, you need them to get that kind of drug and get addicted to that. Like, hear that one. And I think I was a bit like that with audiobooks, where like I was trying to like stop listening to music and stuff. And I heard like 4-Hour Work Week. I think that was one of the first I heard. And I was like, wow, like this is amazing, right? It took me by surprise. And then I was like hooked. And I'm saying, if you want this guy to be achieving for greatness, like he needs to get hooked on it, right?
Didn't you say?
That's why, for example, one thing I was going to say that there's, you know, Matthew Said, who writes Black Box Thinking, and
You're Awesome.
You're Awesome. Basically, your Awesome book is the kind of book that he's written for a young audience.
Yeah,
and it's full of pictures, but it's again very short kind of stories, and it's just every single page about getting them hyped that you can do this, and it gives them a little framework, little exercise, and that kind of stuff. That's almost like a playbook.
That's what I was going to say. That's the main difference. Ryan Holiday is not saying that he's sick. He's saying that these people are sick and here's their stories. Tim Ferriss is saying, I'm sick, I've done this, here's how you can do
that's
it.
True. I think I prefer the Ryan Holiday style in that sense.
And it depends on who the author is, because it's difficult for an author to go out there, especially coming from an Islamic perspective, and say, I'm sick, I've got the most ihsan. Nobody got more ihsan than me, even Obama. You know, so that's the tricky bit as well.
But do you think that 7 Habits was like that?
Kind of. It was him saying, I know this stuff works because I'm a consultant or whatever.
No, he knows it works, but he wasn't going on the vibe where like 4-Hour Work Week, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. It's
a bit more academic, not academic, but more professional and stuff in that sense.
Yeah. So I think it's about getting a balance between those, right? All I'm saying is that, you know how for young people, you like what you're saying about Your Awesome Festival is that it's got pictures, it's colorful, it's broken down. I'm like, you need to do that type of stuff. Obviously, a 20-year-old is not the same as a 10-year-old, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I'm saying that like today's day and age where it's like a YouTube mindset and videos and screens and like you need to be a little bit like that.
Yeah.
So what I suggest this, yeah, we kind of mix the two. So it's for example, like let's say an example chapter, you would tell the story of a Sahabi or whatever, right, which exemplifies that that trait of ihsan, right, in a certain area of life, let's say. But then you come with your own commentary, like, oh, I tried this out and this is what I found, or I had a friend who also did this in the modern context, right? So so every chapter might have those two elements.
And that's a really good thing, guys, because, you know, I mean, like what Amin said there, Faisal, is actually really good in the sense that if you go on hard about the Sahaba and all these things, you start to indirectly build the identity up.
Oh, no doubt about that. Yeah, that's going to be a big, important ingredient here. To know who you are, who your people are, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because at the end of the day, like right now, we know who the young people know. They know Ronaldo, they know Messi, and so that's you try and be like them. But okay, if you actually know the people of the past, or you know greats before you, you can embody that stuff.
If you think Ronaldo worked hard, then look at Imam Nawawi.
Yeah,
you know. So if that's like the structure, like, so if we're going to go with that, then it would probably be a book where it's like trait based. So each chapter is a trait of ihsan.
So here's the thing. You talk about a book that got you gassed up. Believe it or not, the book I read when I was proper like down in the dumps, and I was proper struggling and this and that, and it was actually The Keys by DJ Khaled. You know that?
Okay.
It's actually
I like that.
Literally, But it was sick because he's just got, okay, these are my major keys, and these are the keys that you need if you want success in life, right? And obviously it was funny because you read it kind of in his voice, and he's literally how he speaks and stuff. But even that's quite good. Like I said, okay, look, key number 1, this. Key number 2, this, and then it's like, this is what you need to do, and this is an example of how. So now he's got case studies of, okay, so this either from his own life, or okay, so this rapper, he came to me once and he did this and he did that. What he did, and then he's got an example of it.
You basically lost all credibility now with your whole cultured thing by loving DJ.
Real recognize real. You know, you gotta give credit where it's due, man.
But I think one thing which is really cool is that DJ Khaled knows his audience, right?
Yeah.
And he appeals to that audience. So there's definitely a lot of lessons. So I know you just read it for research purposes anyway, right? But that's like a good thing. But yeah, I think that's a good start, man. Like let's we don't need to worry too much about how the book's written.
Content and stuff, exactly.
That's gonna come later. Let's do the marketing side of it. Let's come up with like a tagline and a name and all that stuff.
Okay. So it has to speak to this audience, and it has to ideally, you know, speak to the audience, and then allude to the problem, right, to the pain point or the solution. You know, one of the two. This is gonna be just brainstorming. It just throw.
Okay. What do you guys think about the word like celebrity or superstar? Like these are the kind of
first superstar to celebrity. I don't know.
Yeah, I know you too.
Celebrity sound sleazy.
Yeah. Okay. Good to see how you think of celebrities. What celebrities you're into? Okay. So let's put down celebrities. Let's put down superstars. Let's put down influencers.
So, I mean, one thing I was thinking was, you know, obviously who Muhammad Ali was known as the greatest, right? So you can do something like, you know how you got good to great. How about from great to goat? Goat, right, the greatest of all time.
Yeah, you have to tell Mohammad what it means. Yeah, great to go. Okay, interesting. Is this title, Faisal? You wrote topic ideas.
Oh, sorry, title ideas.
Yeah, okay. What is there a book like You Can Be Awesome or something like that?
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about. You Can Be Awesome. That's the guy.
You Can Be Awesome.
No, it's called You Are Awesome.
Oh, You Are Awesome. Okay.
Right.
You know,
so
Al-Maghrib did this title recently, of this kind of fulfillment, kind of purpose, kind of course. It was a good title, man. They called it As You Are.
Okay.
So it's basically saying that as you are, you're like perfect. You just need to like tweak this type of thing and stuff.
I hate that mindset. Yeah, that's proper like not even millennial. That's Gen Z.
Snowflake, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Snowflake
Don't change. Just don't change.
You know when you think snowflake. Yeah, there's one guy who's ringing my head, but I can't repeat what he says.
All right.
I know who you're talking about.
I know you know.
Yeah. Okay. As you are. Why are you writing as you are?
No idea. The bad idea, right? Okay.
Yeah, I know Mohammad would write that. He's
Influencers.
You know, I'm gonna look up James Altucher because I feel like his titles are good for this kind of.
You know what was interesting?
The influencer with Hassan.
I think that's actually not bad one, bro. Because like all the influencers today are seen as different.
Or how influence with Ihsan. So you're basically telling him how to influence. Yeah.
You know the influencer with Ihsan. You know what that reminds me of? The monk who sold his Ferrari.
Yeah, it does.
It's good. That kind of stuff is good because there's like an immediate story in the title.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, interesting.
So James Altucher has Choose Yourself, Reinvent Yourself, The Rich Employee. Yeah, pretty much. The Choose Yourself stories.
Outliers was interesting because Outliers, like, it doesn't actually tell you like before you read it. I didn't know, even though I studied statistics, I didn't actually know what Outliers is. So when I read it, I was like, wow, this is quite cool. Outliers.
Yeah, and that's what his for the Outliers. It's the subtitle that does the work because it's like why success leaves clues or something. I think it's something like that. Outliers. 1 second. The story of success. That's what Outliers the tagline was. So Outliers. I mean, at the moment they're very sort of westernized. I mean, is that deliberate? Do we want to bring some Islamic terms in there?
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
How about something like that? You could be something cheesy like from Bismillah to Mashallah or something.
I think we need to go back to these, like, there's a title and there's a tagline. Me personally, I found it easier to do the tagline first, then come up with the title.
Okay, cool. Let's do that.
Because the title's one of those big things, right?
Yeah.
But with the tagline, it's like, okay, what are the 3 things? You've got the things there, yeah. So we kind of said.
We talked about authenticity, being yourself, identity, and then purpose, fulfillment, clarity.
Yeah.
So purpose and identity really. Isn't it?
I've got one. So how to up your standards.
To up your standards.
Yeah, scroll up a bit, Faisal, so I can see the thing. How to up your standards and impact the world while being yourself.
Okay. Impact, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
No, up your standards a bit bland.
And so is being yourself. I don't like the being yourself thing.
Yeah, we can iterate on it. I would, as you are.
Ironically, the guy you hated it, yeah.
What I think we should do, bro, is like, you know how, look, one of the sickest taglines of all time is a 4-hour work week, bro. Like, it's amazing, right? Escape 9 to 5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. Come on, man. Like, who, like, that's it. That's most people's dreams, right?
Yeah.
Escape 9 to 5, no more working. Go travel, live anywhere, and like be like massively new rich.
Yeah. So hang on. So escape the rat race.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're gonna lamster
it. Be anyone, and join join the greats. I don't know.
You know what? Tell me 3 things that these guys want.
Exactly.
Money, power, respect.
Okay.
What's that tune? I don't understand what you mean. Exposed.
So, what would you say? Like, what are the 3 things that these guys want?
So I think they want
find fulfillment in their work. Because I don't know if they're like gonna leave their job, like they're gonna.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I like find fulfillment. I wouldn't go that deep in their work. I'll just find fulfillment. That's good. Okay.
Yeah,
What
Design
else?
fulfillment.
Discover your purpose and impact the world or something.
Discover your purpose. But why don't we put something here about the yani, what the people of the past have left us in terms of
Legacy.
No, I mean, we've got so much to learn from these greats of our civilization.
Yeah.
You know what you could do, Faisal? Like, this is a bit up your street, right? You could do like historical hacking or something, right? So you're like kind of hacking the history of, but you know, it's not overtly Muslim, but then obviously we're going to do all Sahaba and all that kind of stuff, right? So like you could do like historical hacking or something like that. But I think, you know what it is? Because obviously, as you guys know, I'm doing the whole book on like purpose and impact and all that stuff. I think that's really powerful. But what I was thinking here is that this was going to be more deeper about identity and fulfillment and this kind of stuff, because the identity topic itself is a huge one, right?
Topic, yeah.
And then also within like personal development, greatness as itself is a deep topic as well. What I would advise is that we don't go too wide, because the whole purpose and impact and all that, that's like very wide.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like find fulfillment, be great, right? Because greatness is one of the things you were saying, right?
Yeah.
Or be awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
I just got one which I don't want to forget, which is the third thing in the tagline is discover the greatness in your own history. Something like that, anyway. Discover the greatness. I don't know about greatness, but it's like your own history. So that's also has the identity element in it.
Yeah.
Well, be great or become the best.
Okay. So how about something like know your history, know yourself, and become
the greatest.
Become the great, yeah. or realize your potential or something like that. Is that a big one? Realizing potential. No, realizing potential is not the same as being great.
Yeah.
Because potential is something that you talk about from a young. I mean, you don't talk
it's
about.
Like Mohammad always says, the teachers used to say he has potential. Faisal, know your history. That's like an example of what they just couldn't care less about.
Yeah, it's true. Okay.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's like find fulfillment, be successful. Find fulfillment, get success, and be great.
Good.
But the problem with that, Mohammed, is there's nothing unique about that.
Yeah,
and
true.
I thought because we're writing for Muslims, there needs to be an element of that in the title, so they know that this is specifically for people like me.
Okay, so what the problem we have is that someone older, like Faisal, he might appreciate things like history, right? Like he does, and tradition. Okay, like I always tell, like when I'm trying to build a Muslim's identity, I'm like, look, it's in your tradition for you to be this way, right? Yeah. But for younger people, the word of history and tradition, they see that as backward. So how do we, like, as marketers, transform, like, choose a word which makes it like, actually, that's actually quite sick. That's what I want to do. And that's why I was thinking about the whole history hacking, because it's like, hacking is cool, right? And it's like,
hacking your history. Yeah, I really do like that. Yeah, hacking your history is really good.
Right. And then, so that could even potentially be a title, right? Then from a tagline for that, like, okay, if you are actually going to hack your history, what would be the benefits of that? What's the results of that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like at that point, you could be like, fine. I mean,
not to make it too woke and stuff. Hacking your history sounds like something that the West kind of did to us already. Hacked it and whitewashed it.
Also, you could do the whole, like, you know how we used to like, what's his name? Tony Robbins used to say, live with passion, right?
Yeah,
and me and some of my friends, we used to say like, live with ihsan, right? So you could actually have that, like, find fulfillment, be great, and live with ihsan.
Yeah. Okay.
Because then ihsan becomes a very Muslim type thing, and it becomes one of those like unique things. And if you're doing it from hacking your history as well, it's kind of like, you know.
And from a keyword point of view, like if you want to own a word, then whoever writes this book should own the word ihsan.
Yeah, by the way, that's what Muslim Mastery is intending to do. So, like, just so you know. But yeah, I think it's good.
I thought you owned with Mastery.
Well, Mastery, but this is it. For us, like Arabic, it's all about ihsan, right?
Is it mastery or mastery though?
Yeah, MAR. When you put your trademark application in, make sure you.
It depends if you
choose
speak.
the R.
It depends if you speak Queen's English or if you speak like common like.
No, but Mohammed, do you actually have the domain Muslim MARST? Because
I have a lot of domains, as you guys know. Yeah, like I have some good domains, alhamdulillah. All right, come on. So, Faisal, find your passion, be great, and live with ihsan. Because the whole greatness, right? You wanna like you got it up there.
Find your passion, be great, and live with this on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe passion is the wrong word. Maybe it's purpose, but like
yeah, find your purpose. I think that's better. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So that's the subtitle.
Do you think become great is better than be great?
Become.
Become.
Yeah, but because it's the process, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And live with this on. Yeah, that's actually quite strong. I like that.
The only thing missing for me is like
oomph.
No, maybe it doesn't need. Maybe it's not required, but something which indicates what's actually in the book, like.
No, but that's the title.
When you do something like this, then the title becomes more important. Whereas if this is more descriptive about what's in the book, then the title can be very abstract. It can be like Outliers, for example.
So
maybe
so
switch
you're saying the
Slack
title
off,
needs to be quite long.
That's you might want to switch Slack off.
It is off.
Oh right, okay. Was that mine then?
Yeah.
No, that's good. It came up on my screen. I thought it was your screen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so let me think. By the way, just time check.
Yeah, we've got 17 minutes left.
Okay, cool. Because we're going to need to do the launch part of it as well. So
let's take that one first. Let's do a title. Let's do a title for that, and then let's get into like launch.
Okay, let's do a title for that. So, okay, so the tagline we're going with is "Find your purpose, become great, and live this life."
Subhead, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, what would the title be if that? Because now we can't have a sign in there because the sun's there. And we can't have great in there because great's there.
Like I said first, like you could do superstar hacking, right? So superstar hacking is one of those things where, okay, I'm interested in superstars. How can I hack their success? How can I do this kind of thing? And then the superstars we're talking about obviously are the Sahaba and people like that, right?
Yeah. But I mean, would you refer to them as superstars? I think I'm not sure. It's because what you could do is something like, I
would definitely go down that route of superstars and stuff because that's what appeals to the avatar, you know.
I don't think so.
Because
you got to understand that even though they're quote unquote young and this and that, they look at Islam and their history, if you like, as something which shouldn't be ruined with a lot of the modern stuff. I still think they think that way. Yeah. They understand that you need some separation.
You know what word I like is pioneer. So do you think they don't understand that? Pioneer.
I mean, I don't think it's a word on most people's lips, right?
Really? Okay.
Even though the meaning it's like a unique word where there's no other word for it. But
yeah, game changers and something. Game changers and something.
I like game changing.
Game changers and then how you would Islamicize it? You need an Arabic word here. Game changers and greatness. Game changers and greatness or something. Hang on.
Like, if you have a title about people like game changers, then the subtitle doesn't make sense anymore.
Oh yeah, okay. Game changing greatness. So then you can actually talk about it in the like this is all the times in the past that But then it's still not the same. Game.
You know, you're talking about identity, yeah?
Yeah.
What's a one-word identity that they would like to associate themselves with?
What the prophetism?
Look, we've got to be careful, yeah. Like I mean, saying like I think that there's like a textbook type of pious mode on type of way of seeing life, yeah. And then there's the real way that they actually live life. And I'm
Sure.
talking about even people of knowledge, bro. Like people that I know. Like there's a textbook way and there's a real way, yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that everyone really wants to be Ronaldo, even though
Yeah,
they
I'm saying, yeah, deep down, bro, like what they want to be is they want to be a superstar, they want to be an influencer, they want to be a celebrity. Like I'm saying that, okay, they might Islamify it, they might do it, like, and that's what I'm saying to you. Like, it's not like, do you think that the today's Muslim wants to be the guy who prays to Hajj secretly at night and they just got a great relationship with Allah? Hell no, he's not.
No, they want to be the hijabi influencer that takes the hijab off.
Yeah, or well, let's not go there, right? Let leave women's issues to women. Right? Okay. But I'm saying that they want to be like Ali Dawah, Muhammad Hijab, like they want to be that version, right? No one wants to sit at home and just be secretly close to Allah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you wouldn't call them superstars.
No,
I've got one.
I'm just giving you an example.
What about this format at least? Yeah, Muslim and killing it.
I wouldn't put the word killing with
Killing.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I know
it's a play on words, isn't it? And I guess it.
Actually, you know, it could like be provocative.
Well, yes, and yes, but
But you know what I mean? Muslim and something. Crushing it. I mean, crushing it is.
I mean, you could go down the whole Muslim and great, right?
Yeah, but that's just dead compared. Like, you need a more elevated version of great.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about the whole killing it thing is that it's actually a bit of a inside joke that a lot of my friends have got about me. They all say, "Oh yeah, Faisal's killing it." That kind of thing. But they're doing it tongue in cheek, obviously. Quite.
What about crushing it? I mean, that has to be an American.
It's very Americanized, yeah.
Well, who said this is Faisal's book? I didn't.
I never said that either, but
something like that. I think that's the right style of title. Okay, we've got 1 minute to decide.
Okay. How about something like, obviously, like what's the ultimate aim is for adults, isn't it? Would you bring that in somewhere? No.
Again, I think you guys are like living on cloud 9. You should go.
Hey, see what you did there.
You should sit with some of the young people that I've sat with in libraries, and you should realize what is actually in their mind right now. Like even like practice.
No, bro, the book's not going to be X-rated, bro. Come on.
Well, that's what your mind is at. But I think what I'm saying, guys, is that like it's better. Like, it's like the subject of an email, right? It's not so important that the email subject is like eloquent, and the objective is for them to open the email, right?
Sure.
So with the book, we shouldn't get caught up in this stuff. If they want to be an influencer, they want to be a superstar, they want to be this, that's what the title should be, right? Because fundamentally, you're trying to influence them to buy the book, to be interested in the book, and to answer their question. And then you can do that bait and switch thing where you bring them in, and then from there you kind of do it. But I think like going anything else, like
I'm just going to do this again. Make Muslims great again. A very basic one, but it's based on the current kind of topical thing, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I think there's a tough state to play with. I think I do like Muslim and crushing it. The history hacking thing I thought we could bring up here as a title, because history hacking, find your purpose, become great, and live with the sun. I think, but you probably need something in that just to add, because it's not enough on its own. Historical.
Okay, we have to pick one. Gun to head. Gun to head, killing it.
Okay, you know, gun to head is not one of them that stands out.
None of them are like sick, but
yeah,
we have
I would, me personally, I would call it something like superstar stories. Find your purpose. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay,
that's what I would.
It's like so plain though.
Yeah,
like it doesn't stand out.
Also, superstar stories. It sounds like it's for a 12-year-old. yeah, it does. But personally, bro, a 21, 22-year-old great to go? Because Go is actually like everyday language now.
Nah, I wouldn't say it's everyday language at all, bro.
Bro, so
Yeah,
usually-
great to go. Actually, I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's-
gun to head, I would go with that. No,
Yeah.
gun to head, I'd go with Muslim and killing it or crushing it or something. But that one's sick as well. Great to go.
Okay.
Whatever. Like none of them are sick, but
Okay, so let's go with that. Cool.
okay,
All
good.
right. Now, launch plan.
Okay.
Can we just write it there, please, bro?
Yeah,
All as
sure.
one.
I'm gonna actually go with that one.
Yeah. Great to go. That's quite clever, Wallah.
Cool. Yeah, because then you can bring in that aspect of no, you are great already, but we want to make you the greatest.
Yeah. And on the cover, it's got to have that goat emoji.
Right, what like Baphomet, yeah? Maybe you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. All right. So launch plan. So what? So obviously the usual things are available for books and stuff. Obviously.
So is this a self-published book or what?
Let's assume it's self-published for now. Obviously,
okay.
you don't know obviously what happened with that, but let's say it's self-published.
You might get that 6-figure deal.
That's it. Penguin, yeah, Penguin.
Okay, self-published. So of course you would do a book funnel, right, where
Yeah.
people can actually buy it, and you can have upsells and all that, which allows you to run paid traffic to it.
Yeah.
You would definitely get as many as you can, like 100, 200 copies to send to influencers.
Yeah.
Um,
What you'd also do is obviously you'd have an Audible version, Kindle version.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could have like a limited edition
Yeah.
hardback. I don't know. But
Limited edition.
I don't think that's essential.
Signed copy. No, that stuff. Okay.
Mm.
So also you
could
release
even.
go on.
I mean, I've obviously I did this. I mean, I think something like a crowdfunding campaign is interesting as well for this. If you're self-publishing, especially.
Yeah. Crowdfunding campaign to generate interest.
Yeah, just for the awareness and the kind of
and
marketing aspect.
and raise funds for marketing.
And then the main thing around a launch is you want everything going on at the same time, isn't it? So you want to pack as many influencer mentions and like podcast. Getting on podcast. You want to pack that into like 30 days.
Yeah. Okay. Influencer mention,
yeah.
podcast. So when you say influencer mentions, then are you saying things like, like getting in touch with them, saying, okay, in May is my book launch, so you arrange it in advance and stuff. Is that how you do it, or is it like?
Yeah. So like 2 months ahead, you might send the books out. And then you'll get in touch. You'll be like, oh, how did you find it? Did you read it? This and that. And then even closer to the time, you'd be like, look, in these dates, I'm really going all out. It'll be great if you could, give me your, even actually in advance, you get the testimonials and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you'll be like, could you just do just one post on your social media about it and stuff?
Post, etc. Okay. And then I guess you'd also, there's an element of research required in terms of who are the right influencers. And then who are the right podcasts? So, for example, the who are book specific, Bookstagram or what those kind of things. So you can.
I think what we could also is to do a specific talk. So you'll find that what really took start with Y to the next level was doing that TEDx talk.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
TED talk. Doing like even if you can't get on a TED stage, just doing a talk yourself on the book that kind of summarizes it in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then during that launch period, you want to do some lives, probably Instagram live in this case.
Facebook, Instagram, for the audience,
Yeah.
What about how? Okay, here's a question: how would you release sort of excerpts and stuff like that? Is it more like personal brand type content, or is it more download a free chapter from my such and such?
So I wouldn't download a free chapter. I would have the chapter I've chosen that's like the best part of the book. Yeah. I would have that as best part of the book because I forgot who said that. nobody didn't buy a book because the free chapter was amazing. You know, like if it's amazing, they're gonna buy it. So free chapter, now this, I would treat it like a pillar post or pillar piece of content. So the free chapter goes on your website, on the blog, right? But then it gets turned into an audio version, a video version. And the video version, you're not just sitting there reading it, you're like going through it. You're going through the main ideas and telling the stories from it. And then why not go on someone's YouTube channel, like an influencer's YouTube channel, and also talk about that best chapter? Right. So it's almost like whenever you get, whenever you're featured somewhere, you have these key stories you tell, and they're your best stories.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to go on all these influencers, if they have YouTube channels or podcasts, and you want to be telling those same amazing stories on each one.
So storytelling.
You could tell I've got all this thought out.
Yeah, best stories available and ready to share whenever you go on a platform. Yeah. So
and then there's like,
is that what you did on like Freshly Grounded? Yeah.
Not even. I would say that's when I go launch mode. Then I'll go back on Freshly Grounded and do that.
Got you. Okay, very good. Okay, awesome. So what else? So you got.
I mean, honestly, all of this together would be a good launch, I think. But you could always do that X Factor thing, which is like, I remember Tim Ferriss got a bit creative with the launch of 4 Hour Chef, where he put like some mad bonuses on BitTorrent.
Okay.
And that was he just got, I can't remember exactly how it worked, but that was like his creative, like guerrilla marketing kind of thing, you know. And he got like all these people, like almost like pirate my best content from the book kind of thing.
No, another thing you guys could do is you could create cheat sheets from it. And you could also create like, you know, accompanying workbooks.
Yeah.
So things like that make people feel like, oh wow, like
supplementary material basically. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, and also I know from books, a lot of people create courses or workshops out of it.
Yeah, you could do workshops. That's right.
Yeah. In terms of the funnel, like the upsell might be the audio book. That might be like the order bump, right?
Yeah.
The audio
I think we should talk about the funnel in just 2-3 minutes. Like go specifically into detail, because these are loads of different ideas, right? And you know, someone might be watching this thinking, yeah, I want to do a book. Okay, but like, what do I do first? Because you guys are just giving me like, you know, weeks of work. Like, how do I do it? And so with the funnel specifically, I mean, why don't you just give us a little bit of an overview of like, how would it work? What would it be?
I mean, the funnel is where everyone's going to be sent from any online place, right? It's your HQ, if you like. And even if, you know, literally the funnel is going to start with a page, which is just selling the book, right? And the thing is, like, even if people don't buy, you can pixel them, you can retarget them for like 180 days. You can just be showing them some kind of follow-up ads, right? So on that first page, you would be selling the book. It'll be like, you'll have a video which kind of gets them excited about the book. And then you'll have those testimonials from those influencers on that page. Even the video, which is like a promo video on the top of that page, you might have influencers in it if you get those kind of mentions and stuff.
And also logos of where you've been featured and all that stuff.
All of that. Yeah. And then really, it's usually, this is a kind of a longer page, right? Where after everything I've mentioned, you're going to have, okay, what's the problem? Okay. Muslims who get into the workplace, they feel like it's purposeless. They feel like this. Show them that you understand them. Then say, well, the solution is actually right under our nose. Like, Muslims have always been amazing, so I'm just reviving that. Blah blah blah. Tell that whole story, and then have.
By the way, I mean that's a good title. By the way, Muslims have always been amazing. Like, just even that, that's quite sick, bro.
Yeah, that's very good.
Mohammad just wants anything but the great to goat thing.
I don't know what goat is, bro, and I'm saying that if you have a word like that, I wouldn't put my whole book on it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Maybe I'll test it. I'm gonna go and ask like the next 5-10 random people I meet. Do you know what goat is?
Yeah.
But don't say it like that.
Say the goat.
Do you know what the goat?
The goat.
Yeah.
You don't know what the goat is, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If somebody.
Who do you think our goat is? Then they'll say, "Oh yeah, Billy Goat Gruff or whatever." They'll talk about that.
No, I'm asking them. Like, do you feel like who is the goat for you?
Yeah. Say that.
That's how you say it. Yeah.
And they'll say Baba Black Sheep.
Different animal, but okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm not good at farming all animals.
So Faisal's more of an Animal Farm kind of guy.
Hey, that's very good.
So yeah, so the funnel is like, that's the first page. The first page is all about just getting them to buy the book, like one copy of the book. Then when they buy, because you've got their credit card details, and when they buy, that's when their trust is the highest, right? They've just taken that plunge. So on the next page, because you're running ads to this page as well, you might be even paying influencers for a mention or a podcast for a mention. You want to really capture as much value as possible at that moment. So on the next page, you would have an upsell. Now that upsell could be these worksheets, these workbooks, maybe it could be this. It could be just buy a couple more copies for your friends, right? It could be a coaching thing, right? Which I don't know about this for the avatar, if coaching would be the thing, but these are some ideas for that upsell. Yeah. That upsell might be something around £40, something which it's not too much of a big decision to make. And that would be fine for now because you've captured their email as well. Yeah. And you can always contact them about other things you have going on for you. Because we're trying to reduce, like this is the launch, the initial launch. Now, because you're doing so much work in the initial launch, you're not going to have so many layers and upsells and downsells in your funnel. But when the initial launch period is over, why not have two upsells and then a downsell, for example, you know?
Yeah. So here's a question. Would you not do, when would you use that for like the free plus shipping, or when would you use that competitions, giveaways, and things like that?
Yeah, so the free plus shipping is kind of the book funnel. I didn't focus on that, but that is like the standard way that's done. So it's like the book, I've got the book here for you for free, just pay shipping and I'll send it to you. Yeah. And the call to action is kind of like just fill in your address. So it's like, tell me where to send it.
I think competitions is a very good one, Faisal.
Yeah, it is.
And I think using that whole viral thing.
Yeah, and also the other thing I'd say along with competitions, obviously, is quizzes as well. So like, who's your goat, right? Or who's the goat? How you say it, right? The goat. Like, who is your thing? Or which goat are you most like? Or the goat are you most like? Yeah. So like, you could do like those kind of quizzes as well, right? So I think that's good. The other thing, first, I would say, like overall promotional thing, one really, really important one is actually the 10 by 10, right? So like writing, like actually making short videos and articles on 10 questions that the audience is asking, right? So it's like, how do I feel fulfilled at work? How do I decide what I want to do in my life? How do I do this? How do I do this? What about this? What about, like, all the questions they're asking in their mind? Yeah. Make short videos, and every one of those videos should lead to your funnel.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And obviously standard when you're creating the landing page, you use a lot of the tools that we've mentioned before, transformation grid and all of that stuff. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which you can get in our program. So book a strategy session with us.
Just waiting for that plug, bro.
Yeah. We ran out of time, guys.
Okay, but this is, just before we go, I think it's very important because I want to think about our avatar who's watching this, because obviously the way I'm going to be talking about this episode is a lot of it is around book writing and promoting your book and all that, right? So we've covered like what I see the fundamentals of book, like concepting the idea, like general topics, the marketing book launch and all that. What I want you guys to do is just give a few tips on actually writing the book, because like this, the whole point of this episode is someone watches it and goes, oh my God, like those guys sat down for an hour and they basically came up with the whole concept and all this stuff. Like, what if I sat down for a day? Like, could I do that? Yes, I could. Okay. But now that I have that, I've got the idea, I know my avatar, I know everything. Like, how do I actually write this thing now? So just give me some feedback and some tips and tricks that you guys would suggest about actually putting this book together and this content together.
So I think, obviously you're quite far along with yours. So I think you could make a start.
If you need my help, then give up. Honestly, what we've done is actually a lot of it in terms of understanding the audience. In terms of like actually getting started, don't sit down to write a book. First sit down to research. So if we are doing a book like this, then it's about saying, okay, so the book is about like greatness and ihsan and stuff. Like, okay, where are the stories of ihsan? Okay, I guess profit's the first one that come up. This and that. So you're going to want to start your research. when you're doing your research, I would just Google like Ryan Holiday, what do you call it? What are those cards? Note cards?
Yeah.
Ryan Holiday note cards method. And then you'll have a method of basically getting all your research onto little cards, and those little cards get categorized, right?
Yeah.
So when you categorize them, basically what you're doing is you're putting chapters together. So then everybody knows this from uni, that when you do the research and you've got it all in like bullet point form and all your references there, then writing it becomes easy. So it's just about doing the research first, finish the research first, and then write. Right, so you're never writing from a blank head, like, what do I do? So you've got your bullet points or your cards or whatever, and then it's like, okay, so and then you decide on the structure for every chapter. So you might say, okay, it always starts with a story, then you explain on the story, then you talk about your personal idea, personal anecdotes and stories, then you talk about implementing it in 2020. Right, like these could be 4 parts that every chapter has to have. So then you're looking at your cards and you're like, okay, so first story, so where is the story relating to this trait of greatness? Okay, I got that one. Okay, you start writing, and you just knock out all those cards. By the time you knocked out all those cards, turn them into paragraphs, you've done the book pretty much.
Very good, mashallah.
The
only thing I'd add really is the whole thing about consistency. Like, sometimes you think, oh my God, how the hell am I going to write a book? And it's so daunting because there's so much to write. So it's just literally like, 15 minutes a day, or actually start off with 5 minutes a day, and force yourself. You just think, okay, it's only put the timer on your phone, even 5 minutes, and it might be that nothing actually comes out in that 5 minutes, but just force yourself to just write even one sentence. Okay. And so that's the first thing, just get consistent every single day. I mean, again, the best thing maybe after Fajr, your mind's clear, or there's barakah in the morning and stuff. So start doing that. Second thing is that understand that there's a really good book I just recommend you called Make Time. That's all about productivity and all that kind of stuff. And what they say is, especially when you're writing something like a book, it might be that you're working on it for you might think, okay, I'm going to work on it in the morning, and then the rest of the day I've got this to do and this to do, this to do. The other thing, when you're doing something creative, it might be that don't feel bad if you just got one thing that you're doing all day. So like, it might be for the book, like you're working on it for 3-4 hours in the morning, and then that's it, your day's done. Or in the afternoon, you can just do like other tasks and stuff. But basically, once you're in the swing of things, then spend it could be 2 to 3 hours. Because when you're in creative mode, the real juice of creativity doesn't actually come in until 3-4 days in. That's what they say. Until you've so because if you stop starting, you kind of it's like imagine a car. When you switch it on, it's cold, isn't it, to start off with, and then eventually it warms up and stuff. So that's what I'd also say is that like initially, to get consistent, just do short bursts, and just once you're in the swing of things, then feel free to spend a few hours, even a few days on it, and then, because you can get the bulk of it done then, and then it's just about polishing it up and stuff. And then finally, the thing I'd say is that find an amazing editor, because the truth is that you're like less is more. I sometimes write at length and stuff, so this is why you need to find a really good editor to kind of just cut the fluff, because everyone always thinks their own stuff's amazing, but you need a critical eye who can partner up with, and they can just make it all very streamlined and stuff.
Yeah, I think
is it fair to say, Faisal, that you shouldn't edit while writing? You write,
flow,
then edit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd add to that, because I think you guys are giving really good advice, mashallah, is that one book I would definitely recommend that you guys read if you're writing a book is called Made to Stick, because it's all about how ideas become sticky and stuff. And I think like if you read any of the books that those authors have written, they're all sticky because they research first how you do stickiness, right? So Made to Stick by Chip Heath and Dan Heath, I'll definitely recommend that. The second technique that I found very useful, like Amin saying, like a lot of this stuff is about research. Like before you sit down and do the book, it's not like what's in my head to write it. It's actually like, what can I research? But it might be that you actually know your industry quite well. And so what I found to work very, very well, and I do this a lot when I'm kind of like writing talks and stuff, is that I'll just brainstorm everything I know and everything I've kind of got in my mind, and I'll put it down. Then I'll brainstorm everything. Then I'll do the research and go do all the research. But the third thing I'll do is sometimes I'll jump on a call with someone else, right? And then I will explain the concept to that person, because what you'll find is that when you're writing, you write in a certain way. But then when you're actually speaking it, sometimes you add other things, ideas come to you. Your mind starts like expanding on what you're actually saying, right? And so from that perspective, that can help you to add more content to it and more flavor and more depth to it as well. So I would say that definitely jump on the call and all that kind of stuff. And the third thing, I think, which is probably the most important thing of the whole discussion that we've had, is for you to actually make a start, for you to take action. Because a lot of people will watch this, they'll think this is amazing, this and this. When you end this podcast, when we finish, you should sit down and, if at worst, just write, I want to write my book about this, or this is my topic, or like take some action from it and just do something like very small, like Faisal was saying, very, very regularly if you have to, because in the end, consistency will beat it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final thing is that in your sort of dedication, make sure you remember the Muslim CEO team.
Yeah, that'd be great. Someone wrote the book because of us. We encourage them.
That's
a good idea.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, guys. So what we did in this episode is we brainstormed how we would actually put together created a concept for a book. We came up with a title, we came up with a tagline, we came up with the kind of basic structure. Importantly, we also understood who we're writing it for, and we catered everything around that. And finally, we kind of put a lot of ideas together around how we would launch it successfully. So thanks for joining us. This podcast is available on all the places where you get podcasts. Just search Muslim CEO Show. It's also available on YouTube and Facebook. So make sure you follow us. Make sure you let us know how you found this. Give us any ideas for future episodes, and definitely see you around, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.